It doesn't always pay to put off things like shopping, right, Mary?
I've heard.
Well, the good stuff, sometimes it gets picked over when it's this close to Christmas.
But at Schrock Innovations, new laptops have arrived.
Thor Schrock is here to compute this. Good morning, Thor. Are you
Hi.
ready,
guys? How
Are
are
you
you
a
doing?
last minute shopper?
You know, historically I am, but historically I am.
But you're going to change things this year.
Well, you know, I did a lot because I did most of my shopping on the internet this year. So I mean, it's really easy. You know, you're like, okay, you know, the baby
Boom,
would
boom,
go to
boom.
sleep. You know, so
Done.
now the baby's asleep, and my wife's doing something else, and I just sit down and do some quick shopping. You know,
Maybe you could shop on a new laptop
you could do
if
that.
you got
Now,
one this Christmas.
one of the things that we've seen this year over at Schrock, obviously we have the holiday special laptop, we have the holiday special desktop, but we have seen an increase in procrastinating shoppers this year. And one of the challenges with the holiday special is when you come and buy it, you can't take it home that day. It has to be built for you. Every computer is built for you. And so, you know, all the things you'll change or modify or anything like that, so you truly have a unique computer. Well, when it comes to the last minute shopper, that's not very convenient.
It's not.
Yeah,
right,
no.
no.
And so
I need it right now.
Right, I want to take
Right.
it home and wrap it and stick it under the tree
That's
today.
right. And it's no secret that this year's holiday special laptop has just been, I mean, a home run smash. We've sold as many of the laptops as the desktops this year, and that's never happened
So
before.
what are you bringing us
Are they
that's
the
not...
Asus? Are they Asus
Yeah, they're
ones?
Asus, and this is where I was going with that, because Asus is like, hey, Schrock, we really love the fact that you're buying pretty much all of our high-end computers this year. You know, we're ramping up production. We told you we were going to buy a bunch. And they're like, well, you know, are there any other computers that we might interest you in? And I'm like, well, you know, we're pretty good with the holiday special, but I suppose if you had a computer with, you know, this like multi-core Intel-based processor, minimum of a 500 gig hard drive and 4 gigs of RAM running Windows 8. If you had something like that in a 15-inch screen at a reasonable price, you know, we might pick up a few of them for those last-minute shoppers.
And
that are
that's
flying
what you
around.
did in
And
this
that's what we
case.
did.
So who is it designed for? As you're running through some of those numbers, what does it mean to me in terms of speed and storage and performance?
Sure. Now, keep in mind, when you buy a laptop, you're buying a computer that has a fixed capability. You can't change the processor out in those. So we can increase the hard drive, we can make it bigger or faster, we can add more memory, which will help with speed. But you're really, when you buy a laptop, you're getting what you get. This laptop is perfectly designed for the home consumer that is going to use it to do bill pay, check internet, do email and Facebook. It's perfect for a student.
Home budgets, spreadsheets.
It's also perfect for a younger kid. I mean, they retail at $499, so Asus took care of us and got us a really good price on these. They retail at $499. You're not going to buy your 10-year-old, you know, son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter a $1,600 laptop.
You don't
That's
want
not
to trust
wise.
they might drop it or
They're just
spill
not,
soda.
they just don't understand it inherently how to take care of that kind of technology yet. But a $499 laptop, you know, honestly, I have to say my son is homeschooled, and he is 8 years old, and he's learning how to touch type.
Yeah.
I never learned to touch type in school. You know, they didn't teach that in school when I was in school, and I went to a math and science technology magnet school. You know, there's like, oh, there's the
Sign of the
keyboard, type it up.
times.
So yeah, I mean, you really need to get kids exposed to this technology, and you can't assume that's all going to happen at school.
And these they'd be great because they don't have all the bell. If you're going to do graphics or video, this
This
is the
isn't
laptop.
the laptop for you.
This
No.
is to do basic
This
email.
is for the stuff that 80% of us do with our
store
computers.
pictures on
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
And you know, and everyone says, well, it only has a 500 gig hard drive. Why didn't you ask for a 1 terabyte hard drive? Well, when we see computers coming into our service center, the average consumer is using less than 80 gigabytes of their hard drive.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do you any good to have, in fact, larger hard drives are more likely to fail.
And if you're not using it, what does it matter?
Yeah, so why would you have a hard drive that's more likely to cost you a $200 or $300 repair just so you can say, oh, I've got a lot of extra space? That's like buying a great big pickup truck, an F-350 to drive to work in every day. It just, why would you do that?
Right.
You know?
Where do we see these laptops? We got to come into the locations, or
Yeah,
are they
actually,
on your website, or how do you...
They're not on the website primarily because, you know, it's not like a big limited quantity thing. We only have so many available. But this Asus did take care of us on these, so I don't know how long they'll take care of us on this.
Right.
But basically, they are in stock in our Omaha Service Center right now. You can go in there today and see them. They'll be in Papillion
Village
later
Point
this week.
South.
At the Village Point Service Center. But they actually have them in stock, which means you can come in, you can buy it, you can take it home. They're in stock in our Lincoln Service Center as well.
Yeah.
But Papillion will be in, I think, on Wednesday they'll have theirs.
And if I come in and I'm shopping and I don't understand, and you know me, I'm not totally hip to some of what you talk
Totally
about.
hip.
But I have to imagine some people are in the same boat. So if they come in and they shop, can one of your technicians, a member of your team, explain what some of those things mean so that I get it before I buy and give it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, and it's one of the things, the first question that we ask a customer when they come in to look at a computer is, what are you going to use it for?
Yeah.
It's not like, so what kind of processor do you want? You know,
Yeah, 'cause I don't know.
When you go shop for a car, they don't say, you know, what kind of an engine are you thinking? Like a V6 or a V8, or, you know, and you want the Allison transmission? You know, they don't ask those kind of things. Maybe the certified people can answer those questions, but, you know, at Schrock, when you come in and ask about a computer, we're going to ask you what you're doing with it, because what you're going to do with it tells us how much power you want. And then we always tack on a little extra, because as we've all talked about before, technology marches on, and we don't want to sell you a laptop today that's going to be too slow to do what you want it to do next year.
Yeah, and then the other thing when you shop at Schrock is you have the support of the help desk. That's always an option too. So if you buy a laptop, explain to our viewers why that's such a good option.
Yeah, you know, the service is really what sets Schrock Innovations apart from any other box store where you can go buy a $500 laptop any day of the week. When you go into Schrock and buy a computer, you have a 90-day free subscription to the Schrock desk, which means once you get this home, when you have questions, when you're trying to get that printer hooked up and you can't make it happen, when you're trying to get it, you know, get your network set up, and you're trying to get that external hard drive to do the backup right and it won't work, you have a help desk that you can call, unlimited support for free for the first 90 days. And trust me, we've had a few people that have taken a computer home and not set it up in 90 days, and then they're a little miffed that they don't have a Schrock desk subscription anymore. Well, when you buy a new computer, you're supposed to, like, I would take it home and set it up like that day, you know?
use it.
But you know, when you pick up your computer, do take it home in the first 3 months you have it and set it up and use it. And then, you know, if you need other accessories and things like that, like a wireless router or stuff like that, we can help you get those in place as well.
If I have the PC or the laptop already at home, and I don't want to purchase that, can you just get a Schrock desk subscription for yourself, or
absolutely.
gift that for someone else who's
Yeah.
always calling you
Yeah.
to help them out?
See, here's
right?
here's the
those
fine
we
print.
talked about last week.
Here's
yeah.
the fine print. Once your 90-day trial expires, you have an option. You can keep the Schrock desk for $30 a month for unlimited use, or you can let it expire. If you let it expire, you have to wait a year before you can subscribe again, because, you know, otherwise people would just subscribe when they had a problem and then kill the subscription when they were done with that problem, and
Yeah.
then subscribe 3 months later and get help.
You've
and then,
seen it.
Yeah. So basically, when you subscribe to the Schrock desk, it's $30 a month. You can prepay for an entire year. So if
think
you're
that's
going to
so
give this to
smart.
like a grandparent who maybe they didn't obviously grow up with the technology, and maybe they're not really quite there yet. You know, they're able to maneuver with it, but they're going to have questions, and you don't want to become the family's go-to tech guy. You can buy a 1-year subscription to the Schrock
Or
desk. to
you
go with
want
it.
them to be able to take full advantage of the technology, and if something's holding them back where they can't, right? You're answering those questions. You're
No, you
solving
just don't
those
want to be
problems.
the tech guy.
It's so smart.
That's what it comes down
So
to.
if you want to shop for those, what did you say? How much are these?
They're $4.99.
I stopped myself because I thought
laptops.
maybe it was too low. Laptops,
Right.
$4.99. Schrock Innovations at Village Point South in Papillion. They're also in Lincoln, and online at SchrockInnovations.com. Thank you, Thor.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
We'll
Good to
see
see
you. I'll see you before Christmas.
Oh yeah, you'll see me.
Big guy.
Yeah, I'm out
You're-
next week.
You're
I
out?
think I'm
Well, Merry
I think
Christmas,
I'm
Mike.
out,
He
yeah.
doesn't know. He might be here.
Well, if
Thanks,
you're not here,
Thor.
Merry Christmas.